Formula One is back, and the excitement couldn't be more palpable. The Austin circuit has rolled out fresh surprises, starting with a newly laid surface and extending to critical upgrades that teams are set to bring to the Circuit of the Americas. Naturally, all eyes will be focused on the usual heavyweights Red Bull, McLaren, and Ferrari. Among them, Red Bull stands out, facing heightened scrutiny following recent setbacks. With a redesigned floor and a more adaptable front wing in development, the question looms: can Red Bull catch up to McLaren's momentum? And will these changes be enough to maintain their grip on the Drivers' Championship? Unexpectedly, Red Bull has found itself in unfamiliar territory in 2024. Through the season's initial 5 races, even the team was stunned by how tight the competition had become. Few could have imagined that another driver besides Verstappen would rise as a real contender for the title, yet here we are. With just 6 races left, Red Bull is banking on an ambitious upgrade package arriving in Austin. This crucial update centers around a new floor and a more pliable front wing, essential components in their bid to reclaim dominance. Christian Horner, Red Bull's outspoken team principal, has highlighted how competitors such as McLaren and Mercedes have benefited from front wing flexibility throughout 2024. It seems Red Bull is now ready to adopt a similar approach, with Ferrari also set to follow suit. However, despite these efforts, there's no guarantee that this will be the magic bullet Red Bull needs to regain its edge. Given how things stand, Verstappen doesn't even need to win every remaining race. His goal is to avoid being outscored by more than 8 points per weekend by Lando Norris. The only time Norris managed to outscore Verstappen by such a margin was in Australia, when Verstappen had to retire due to a brake failure. So, if history is anything to go by, the odds seem to favor the reigning champion. Adding to McLaren's challenges, Red Bull has high hopes for the Austin upgrades. In Singapore, Helmut Marko expressed confidence, noting that Lando Norris had managed to cut Verstappen's lead in the driver's standings to 52 points. Meanwhile, in the constructors' race, McLaren extended its lead by 41 points. Marko admitted that significant improvements are needed to turn the situation around, but remains optimistic about Red Bull's chances in Austin. Marko emphasized that once Verstappen returns to his winning ways, Sergio Perez typically follows suit, shifting the momentum entirely in Red Bull's favor. However, to achieve this turnaround, Red Bull needs the car to perform consistently under a wider range of conditions, rather than excelling only in narrow setups. The team also needs to unlock more speed, which is crucial for closing the gap with McLaren. Marko expressed his trust in Red Bull's technical team to deliver these results, but he was clear that simulations alone won't suffice. Performance must manifest on the track. In the past, a mismatch between simulation data and on-track reality steered Red Bull in the wrong direction. This inconsistency has been a recurring issue, not only for Red Bull but also for other top teams like Mercedes. In fact, the setbacks Red Bull has encountered recently are eerily reminiscent of Mercedes' struggles over the last couple of years. These issues raise legitimate questions about whether Red Bull's new upgrades for Austin will deliver the improvements they desperately need. Red Bull's struggle to fully capitalize on their upgrades has been a persistent challenge. It's a problem that Ferrari and Mercedes have also encountered, most notably when Mercedes had to abandon their new floor design after the Spa Grand Prix due to disappointing performance. On the other hand, McLaren has managed to sidestep such pitfalls this season, making Red Bull's task even more daunting. McLaren has not only maintained steady performance throughout 2024, but also plans to introduce further upgrades as they shift their focus towards securing the Drivers' Championship. With their constructors' lead now stabilized, the Woking-based squad is prioritizing individual victories. Red Bull's team principal, Christian Horner, acknowledged that Austin is a natural point in the season for teams to introduce new developments. He mentioned that Ferrari, Mercedes, and McLaren would likely bring updates as well. For Red Bull, the goal is to build upon the lessons they learned after the Monza Grand Prix, which Verstappen described as the team's lowest point this year. Horner is aiming to present a car in Austin with better balance across both axles, giving drivers the confidence they need to push harder. However, Horner also admitted that Red Bull faces a tough challenge. In Singapore, Lando Norris showcased blistering pace, gaining an impressive 23-second lead during the opening stint. Red Bull has begun identifying potential solutions, but there's still a long road ahead. Much will depend not only on the car's mechanical and aerodynamic adjustments, but also on how well the tires perform, especially considering how sensitive they've been throughout the season. One of the biggest reasons for skepticism surrounding Red Bull's upgrades lies in how far behind they are on high downforce circuits, such as Zandvoort and Singapore. In both cases, the flexibility of McLaren's front wing played a significant role in their performance. At Singapore, Lando Norris crossed the finish line with more than a 20-second lead over Verstappen, a gap too wide to be easily closed with just a single upgrade package. Yet Red Bull's hopes remain high, and fortunately for them, they don't need to win every race left on the calendar so long as Norris doesn't score more than 8 points above Verstappen in any given weekend. The limited practice time before the Austin Grand Prix race presents an additional challenge. With just one free practice session to test their new parts before heading into the sprint qualifying, Red Bull will have minimal opportunity to fine-tune their setup. The remaining 3 sprint races on the calendar could either provide a golden opportunity or spell disaster. With 24 additional points available, the pressure is on for Red Bull. If Norris capitalizes on these chances, it could spell the end of Verstappen's championship streak, a streak that has cemented him as a dominant force in recent seasons. Helmut Marko and other key figures within the team know that the stakes have never been higher. Gunther Steiner from Haas added to the conversation by warning that Red Bull's upgrades might not be enough to outpace McLaren. Steiner hinted that Red Bull might need to rely more on McLaren's mistakes than on their own improvements. The fact that McLaren has 2 consistently strong drivers who frequently finish high in the points makes Red Bull's mission even more difficult. In Steiner's opinion, catching McLaren this season could be an impossible task. He reflected on McLaren's impressive display in Singapore, calling it nothing short of amazing. Steiner believes that Ferrari should have been able to place both cars ahead of Verstappen, but their struggles in qualifying left the door open for McLaren to shine. As it stands, McLaren seems perfectly positioned to maintain their momentum. While Verstappen will be fighting tooth and nail to keep his championship hopes alive until the very end. For Red Bull, nailing the Austin upgrades is essential not just to match Ferrari's pace, but to take advantage of any missteps from McLaren. However, as Steiner pointed out, the Woking-based team has been remarkably consistent. Red Bull may find themselves in the uncomfortable position of hoping for their rivals to falter, rather than being able to count on their own pace to turn things around. McLaren's rise this season has been nothing short of extraordinary, capturing the attention of fans and competitors alike. It's remarkable to see how far they've come, especially considering their slow start to the 2023 campaign. The turnaround came as a result of a comprehensive restructuring of their technical team, showcasing what's possible with the right blend of modern facilities, a clear strategy, and skilled engineers working in harmony. Their transformation stands as a testament to the importance of a well-executed development process, and it seems McLaren has no intention of slowing down anytime soon. Andrea Stella, McLaren's team principal, recently hinted at more upgrades on the horizon, including a brand new floor. However, Stella emphasized the importance of staying patient and avoiding the mistakes other teams have made rushing updates only to see performance deteriorate unexpectedly. McLaren's focus remains on executing a careful strategy, ensuring that each new component integrates seamlessly with the car's existing setup. With Red Bull now on the back foot, the pressure is on to deliver a competitive package in Austin. The ball is firmly in Red Bull's court, and it remains to be seen whether they can rise to the occasion and outplay McLaren at their own game. If Red Bull's engineers can align the car's mechanical and aerodynamic elements effectively, they might be able to turn the tide. However, their success also hinges on how the new upgrades perform under real race conditions, a gamble they need to get right from the outset, given the limited time before sprint qualifying. Tire management will be another critical factor to watch, as this season has proven how sensitive cars are to different compounds. McLaren has been exceptionally adept at navigating these challenges, which makes Red Bull's task even more difficult. The new floor and flexible front wing must not only provide the desired downforce but also maintain stability across varying tire conditions. If they fail to achieve that, the upgrade package could backfire, leaving Red Bull struggling to close the gap with McLaren. While there's optimism within the Red Bull camp, some remain cautious about pinning all hopes on this upgrade. The margins between the top teams have been razor-thin this year, and even the slightest miscalculation could derail their efforts. McLaren, on the other hand, has built momentum with consistency, and their drivers have shown they are more than capable of capitalizing on any opportunity that arises. Ultimately, the battle between Red Bull and McLaren will come down to execution both on and off the track. With McLaren maintaining relentless momentum and Red Bull under pressure to deliver flawless upgrades, the next few races will determine who emerges victorious. Red Bull knows they can't rely solely on performance gains. They'll need to seize any opportunity that arises from McLaren's potential mistakes. But counting on errors alone isn't a reliable strategy. Verstappen's championship hopes rest on fine margins. As long as Norris doesn't outscore him by more than 8 points each weekend, Red Bull can still hold on to the title. However, with McLaren's growing confidence and Ferrari also gearing up to make a mark, there are no guarantees. This season's tight competition has proven that success isn't just about raw speed but also about timing, precision, and adaptability. Adding to Red Bull's challenge is the sprint race format, which provides additional points for the taking. These extra points could either work in their favor or further complicate their position. If Norris can capitalize on the sprints, Red Bull's path to retaining the championship will become even narrower. For Verstappen and Red Bull, the clock is ticking. They'll need the new upgrades to hit the mark immediately if they hope to stay in the fight. While Red Bull has the experience and talent to bounce back, McLaren's consistency poses a formidable threat. It's clear that the Woking base squad has built not just a fast car, but a well-rounded team capable of challenging for the top spot. As Andrea Stella mentioned, the key lies in trusting the process and executing upgrades without disrupting the car's balance, something McLaren has excelled at this season. Now, the real question is, can Red Bull's new floor and flexible front wing deliver the breakthrough they need? Or will McLaren's smooth trajectory and precise execution carry them across the finish line first? One thing is certain: every decision, every lap, and every pit stop from this point forward will be critical. The Austin Grand Prix will mark a pivotal moment in the 2024 season, setting the stage for what could be a historic finish. So, what do you think? Will Red Bull's upgrades give them the edge they need to reclaim control, or will McLaren maintain their upper hand? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And before you go, make sure to check out the video on your screen to stay updated with all the latest action from Formula One.